I went through a really sad breakup like 3 years ago. Now, we had broken up a bunch of times before, and those times were it, but this time was it. I swear. And look, I'm in my 50s. I wasn't exactly ready to start over and pitch myself to the middle-aged dating scene. I mean, for one, I'm a terrible cook. 2, I really don't like Billy Joel. And 3, I don't hike. So, yeah, I woke up kind of miserable the next day, you know? And I went to my miserable job, and I came home to my miserable street. And outside of my miserable building, there was this not so miserable looking man, and he's standing outside holding this black table lamp. So I asked him, "Are you moving in?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm moving in." I said, second floor apartment?" "Yeah, the second floor apartment." "Well, it has been a while since that woman was murdered in there." And he laughed, and that's how I met my new neighbor, Avi. And now, my ex and I were doing that whole no contact thing, which was really difficult because we spoke all the time, right? And now it hurt my jaw just to get words out to coworkers, friends, really anyone, except when it came to Avi, my new neighbor. I would rush home after work just to catch him outside the building because he'd say things like, "Betsy, we should go for a slice one night." Yeah. "Betsy, we should go for a run one night in the park too." Because the thing is, Avi, he was really hot. And he had this beautiful smile, which disappeared one night after work. He was outside pacing. He was angry. His packages had just gotten stolen. "You know, we need to have a doorman here." "Yeah, well, we lived in a pre-war." He moved into a place that had no bells and whistles, just a buzzer, and packages were often left in the lobby, in a pile, so yeah. But I told him I had a package stolen too. I had these body contouring dresses I had ordered at 2 a.m. and on like Etsy, and I wanted to use them for dating, and they were non-refundable and expensive. And my neighbor Joan, my sweet elderly neighbor Joan, had her crutches stolen. And who would steal crutches from a sweet elderly neighbor named Joan? It was crazy. And he said, "You know, we need to catch this thief." And I said, "Yeah, I like that." Except our super, he was gone. He was out at a funeral out of town, so we couldn't look in any footage. So Avi suggested the next best thing. "You know, Betsy, we should profile our neighbors." And I like that too, because I no longer had my ex as my romantic partner, but now I had Avi as my partner on the force. And for 3 weeks, we were on the case, and we came up with suspects. So, 5th floor guy, way too cheerful. He was a sociopath. Then we had 4th floor, surly woman, there forever. She had vendettas. 1st floor lady, with all the weird, colorful scarves, she had to have been in a cult. So yeah, I had this brand new focus, and for the first time since my breakup, I slept really, really well. And then the skies turn orange, right? There were these Canadian wildfires that blew the smoke into New York City. And concerned, I called my ex to see if he was okay. And I went straight to voicemail. And that made me really sad because I had been doing really well. So I came home sad, and there's Avi with his green duffel bag. And I tell him my whole sob story. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, "You're such a nice person, Betsy, but maybe it's just your nature to let the man in." And that really lifted my spirits. And that night, my super called. He had been home for a couple of days, saw the footage, sent it to me, and I clicked to see what's going on. And in the first clip, it's taken after work. And I'm going in the elevator, and Avi goes up the stairs because he's the 2nd floor. And then he comes down, and he picks up a package, and then he looks and picks up another package, and then a third one, and he leaves the building. And then the second clip, same thing, after work, I get in the elevator, he goes up the stairs, he comes downstairs, and he's picking up what appears to be like my body contouring dresses at someone's groceries, and he leaves the building. And then the third clip, He's exiting with Joan's crutches. And then there's the next clip. I get in the elevator. It's the day of the sob story, that day. And I just told him everything. Elevator door shut. And he does this. Excuse me? And then he picks up the packages, puts them in his green duffel bag, and leaves. Maybe, Betsy, it's just your nature to let the man in. You think? Because it turns out Avi never lived there. He never moved in. He was just some random man that would wait for me after work, and I would take my key out, and he'd follow me in and rob us blind. I know what you're thinking. How could she be so stupid? She had to have known something, had to have known anything just a little bit. No, I knew nothing. And I couldn't be mad because I met him at a time that I was feeling such heartbreak, and I wasn't exactly looking for a mystery to solve, right? I was looking for partnership, and Avi, he gave me it. And did I really need it? Because, pun intended, wasn't I already the full package? And all that just blew my mind. I didn't notice that my ex was calling me back to see how I was doing in the orange smoke of New York City. I almost didn't notice that call, but I did. And I answered it, and I let the man in. Thank you so much